Nice hardcore homeowner. And you know what? It's appropriate that hardcore homeowner has Adam Gentzler here today. What a great guest.
How you doing?
From Gentzler and Smith.
Thanks, Matt.
Adam, good to see you,
Appreciate
brother,
it.
man. I'm glad you're here.
It is good to see you guys, man.
Of
Great.
course.
Hey, what's going on?
Man, it's good to
Of
see you.
course, Shane.
Great to see you,
Yep.
man. All right.
Yep.
So let's get right into this, right? Because Hardcore Homeowner is about you being informed. And that's a great thing that you brought to the table, Matt, with this whole series you're doing with Zales.
Well, yeah.
So we appreciate it.
I mean, today's episode 4, we're shooting a little earlier this morning or today for Adam to be able to attend and be a part of it. But usually we're on 7 o'clock, but we'll replay it, of course. But listen, episode 4, how to be a hardcore homeowner. Adam, you've seen the show. You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about.
I love it, actually.
I appreciate that.
I do.
We're trying really hard to put out some good content, some educational, informative content for people. Almost, I would imagine, everyone who watches the show is a homeowner. Some of those homeowners actually probably own businesses as well. And we need to be hardcore owners of those things. We need to understand how to protect those things. And well, obviously, you know, one of the ways that we do that is have insurance.
Right.
And Adam Gentzler from Gentzler
And
Smith Associates here in New York,
Yep.
longtime agent, real stud in the community, very knowledgeable. I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to talk because I want to talk about kind of the different facets of the insurance process. I mean,
Right.
so if we go backwards a little bit, I mean, obviously step 1 is to get insurance. So, you know, we'll talk about that. Step 2 is part of where it comes into play of being a hardcore homeowner is when you have an actual claim. So it's like if I come home one day and, well, you know this.
Oh, yeah. It recently happened to me, so.
Dishwasher leaked,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's on the main floor, so
Yeah.
it goes down through the floor into the basement. You got
Yeah.
flooring that's got to come out, wet cabinets.
Yeah.
It can be a real nightmare. And some of the things that I think is important, and what we've been talking about, is for people to be prepared for when something like that happens. Like, oh my God, what do I do now?
You know, it's funny because I watched, I think it was your last show, or no, it was a show before that, and he brought up a good point. He basically said...
Every once in a while.
No, you did. You really did. He brought, and you mentioned it too, is and even myself in the situation that I was in, who do you call? Who's the first person that you call?
Right.
And the thing that I took away from you, even though I'm an insurance agent, I own an insurance company, and I should know this stuff, I never had a list of my plumber, of who do I call if I have a water leak, where is my water shut off. Everything that you said was a great thing.
Good.
For your audience and everybody that watches the show.
Amazing.
So that being said, like he said, it all comes down to, number 1, do you have communication with your insurance agent? That's the number 1 key. I mean, if you don't have communication with your insurance agent and you don't have that person where you can actually go into their office, sit down, say, hey, what do I have, what do I need, so on and so forth. So at Gentzler and Smith, what I will say is, what we do is we pride ourselves in not really selling price.
Please share.
We make sure that you have everything that you're supposed to need in your policy.
Sure.
And people will find out very quickly that if you do have a claim and you do have one of the fly-by-night companies that are seen on TV, you're going to get stuck. And I'm going to give you a really good example of this, which you've not mentioned yet, was back about, 3-4 years ago, we had really bad flooding.
Sunny Bill.
Yes.
And it was in October, I think.
Yep. It was a fall type situation.
Yeah, it was in October.
Please share.
And everybody's basement flooded.
Please share.
There was water coming up through their sump pumps. Their sump pumps failed.
We
couldn't keep up, and all of a sudden, all the phone calls start flooding into the office.
No pun intended.
And they even, no pun intended.
Gotcha.
And they even featured it on Fox 43 or WGAL, where this new homeowner just had this house built, and the water actually went through the window of the basement.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And there's no insurance.
Well, the window's this high.
Right, but there's no insurance because that would be considered flood insurance.
It's groundwater.
Correct.
It's not covered.
So what people don't, what I wanted to bring up with you is the water backup and sewer coverage on insurance policies. A lot of people overlook.
For sure.
Big time.
Well, let me ask you
And it
this.
doesn't cost that much
I'll
to
tell
put
you
it on
why.
there.
You want to know why?
Why?
There's a couple reasons why. Gang, if you listen, you got to really pay attention to this. This is
Hardcore homeowner.
This is
wonderful.
hardcore stuff right here. So
Yeah.
let me paint a picture for you. You ever go to Jiffy Lube or Valvoline, and I don't mean to use names, but one of those oil change places, right?
Yep.
Inevitably, what happens when they go to get your oil change? They come to your window and they go, Mr. Ford, we see you need this air filter, you need this, you need that. It's going to be $658 when you drove in for a $19.99 oil change, right?
As advertised.
And I have zero faith or trust that I need any of that stuff based on the guy standing there holding a clipboard, right? I just don't.
Correct.
And yet, here's the flip side of that coin. I don't know jack about cars.
Right.
Not enough. I mean, I can change the tire.
So you're relying on that person to
and
know
now
what
you
they're
have to
talking
make
about.
a decision.
Right.
Well, geez, do I do that, or am I getting taken over the coals
Right.
here? You know, there's that level of untrust, and I think some of that exists when we go to buy insurance.
Yes, and
because it's viewed that way to some extent.
and it's a boring subject.
Oh, it's horrible.
Nobody wants to hear about insurance. Nobody wants to learn about insurance. But I'll tell you what: once something happens to you, then you want to know why wasn't that put in my policy?
I've been paying my premium monthly for so long, right? So next thing you know is, and then there's the other ones like you just said, the fly by night companies. I call them TakeMyClient.com.
TakeMyClient.com.
Right,
yeah.
or 1-800-TAKE-MY-CLIENT.
Yeah.
Because they're all web-based. There's no service in it.
Right.
It's all, you said not selling
It's
on
great
price,
to see
right?
what you have in your policy, but what are the exclusions?
What are the exclusions?
Yeah.
There's a difference between an exclusion and a non-inclusion.
Right.
Because exclusions are are because they are because of your house. Inclusions are things that someone just didn't offer you.
And you know the other big, not to mention water backup and sewer coverage, but ordinance of law coverage is actually always overlooked.
There's one I don't even know.
Ordinance of law, which basically means, and we had this happen to one of our customers, their roof had so much snow on it. It was a factory, and they do circuit boards.
Okay.
And so, in a circuit board, if anybody knows anything about electronics, if static, it has to be static free, and if static gets into that, it ruins everything. And their biggest customer is Tyco.
Gotcha.
Okay, so huge customer.
I do work for Tyco.
So what happened was the roof had water or had snow. The roof was caving in. It was leaking.
Yeah.
York Township ended up coming and saying, sorry guys, we can't put a flat roof
Hey
on
Lou,
here."
congratulations, city councilman.
And that's
Hey, Lou Rivera.
How you doing, Lou? Congratulations, Lou. But anyway, what's called ordinance of law is because ordinance of law gives you coverage for code coverage. So if the codes change in your township, and say for instance they don't allow flat roofs anymore, and you need to build up over top.
Yep.
That's where ordinance of law coverage comes in.
Wow.
It would be the same thing as if, take for instance, your basement flooded and you want to refinish your basement and your outlets or your electrical system is not up to code.
Right.
Well, you have to put a whole new electrical system
Code
in.
upgrades, mandatory.
Everything.
Yep.
That's what ordinance of law
Can't
coverage
pull your
is.
permits without you have to go to code upgrades. You don't have coverage for it.
And
that's
those,
out of pocket.
And there you go. Those are some of the things that, you know.
And we run into that
overlook.
all the time. Listen, on
So
the
for
sales
people to
piece
take
over
a
here,
note, they should get a review from it. It sounds like they should be asking their agent to review or find an agent that will review their policy. I mean,
And let me do this too. Listen to this.
This is important.
Listen to this.
bring some truth, brother. Bring it.
I would bet that, and I'm pretty good at this. 70% of the people that are watching this, if you talk to anybody or even yourself, when was the last time you talked to your homeowner's insurance agent?
Never.
Shane, didn't I just bring this up?
Yeah,
last
it's
time?
crazy.
Because let me tell you, if your homeowner's insurance premium, which is typically taken out of your escrow account anyway, so you really don't even know what you're paying per month or per year, because it's just taken out, on a monthly basis.
I call it, set it, forget it.
Right. So that's one bill that you really just like, okay, whatever. It's like a cable bill.
It's
You
out
just
of
pay your
mind, it's
cable
out of
bill.
sight, out of mind.
Yeah. But what you really should do, and I always recommend, is always, every 3 years, contact your insurance agent. There's always new coverages. There's crime coverage now. There's cyber coverage now. There's drone coverage now. There's all kinds of different coverages out there that are not automatically endorsed onto your policy. It has to be added to your policy.
And just because...
And you will find that out when this man comes to your house
And has to
when you
fix
have a
something.
claim.
Eric,
And then we
good,
find
good
out
to
it's get
see
to
you.
reach
Honest
your
Home
pocket.
Solutions.
Eric Blatchall. Hey,
Right.
So a hardcore homeowner, at the end of the day, this is the kind of thing a hardcore homeowner is going to have this information. They're going to get engaged. They're going to get educated.
For
They're
sure.
going to find out what they have, what they need. At the end
And
of
there's
the day.
only one way to do it, and that is what Adam said: is call up your agent and say, "Hey,
Yep.
can we sit down and review my policy?"
Yep.
And the agent is, and listen, having an insurance agent is, you ought to be interviewing those people as a homeowner. Like,
Right.
you don't just walk into an office and
share
write a
this.
policy, and if you are, that's just being lazy.
Right, and
There's got to be some gut involved. I mean, do you feel right about them? I mean, is this a Jiffy Lube guy or is this a,
and it's the same thing. Is we're in the same boat as lawyers, right? Everybody hates us, but when something happens, they love us, right?
Glad they
But
know.
the difference is we don't charge for a consultation. As a lawyer, they charge for a consultation.
sure.
So everything that you would go to your agent and ask these questions, don't be afraid to do it because it's free. Your agent shouldn't charge you for a consultation of your current insurance policy.
Agreed.
And 9 times out of 10, I can tell you, you're overinsured on your property.
in the wrong areas?
No, if you
Or just
no.
too much coverage?
Yes.
Yeah.
And too much building coverage. And the reason
That's
I say
what I meant by kind of areas, I think. Is.
correct, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of times you have a 4% inflation on your policy,
Yeah.
and if you've been with that company say 15 years, chances are your home is worth X amount of dollars, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the cost to rebuild it.
Right.
Is probably about 40% more inflated than what it should be.
And you're paying for that.
And you're paying for
And
that.
you don't
Dallas
need it.
And you don't
Classic
need it.
2000.
So that's
That's
hey,
a-
what's
Good
up,
to see
Aaron?
ya. Please
Yes.
share. Please share this.
So just to reiterate that, we're just basically talking about just contact your insurance agent, and it's going to help people like him and being a hardcore homeowner to basically know what you have in your policy. Number
Yep.
one, right? Who to call if you do have a claim.
Huge right there. Have a gal.
Which
have a gal.
I'm an insurance agent, and I had trouble to who do I call?
For
Because
sure.
when you get put in that situation.
Well, listen, we can talk about that too. I mean, there's a couple of avenues for that, or things, talking points there is, and that's part of being a hardcore homeowner too. One of the things we talk about, you've seen the show, is having a guy
Yeah.
for whatever that area is. I mean, I have a pool. I have an in-ground swimming pool at my house.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit like a boat.
Yeah. Money
Right?
pit.
Well, it's just it's a worry pit. I mean, it's just one of those things that I'm not a pool guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, yada yada. So like, I want someone to do it, to open it for me and close it for
Right.
me. And it's not because I'm lazy. It's
Right.
not because I'm ineffective.
You want it
I
done
just
right.
want that. That's a big investment,
Absolutely.
right? I got a guy. I mean, I got an electrician. I got a plumber. Because when that, I put up a thing on our Facebook page the other day. It was the easy button, and
Yeah.
I put RTI on it
Yeah.
for one of the other companies. But it's like the easy button. You got to have that button for whatever you need, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Holy crap! What's going on with my lights? They're flickering. This scares me to death. Well, who's your guy? And if you don't have one, you got to get one
Yeah, and
because that's super important.
and another good example is that it's now getting colder.
17 degrees this morning.
And I thought about this in my head all night of what I was gonna say when Matt brought me
Hey,
on
fast
today.
Jimmy.
And
Please share.
I can remember last year. I'm sitting there in my chair. It's about 3:00.
Oh, I remember this.
Right? I'm sitting there in my chair. It's about 3:00. Kids are just coming home from school, and I hear this, and I'm like,
Bro, that pipe break.
man, I'm not doing any laundry here.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
water is just pouring into my house. I didn't know where my shutoff was. I had no idea. I had to go down, figure it out. By that time, my floor was obviously soaking
It's a
wet.
lot of gallons.
And eventually, I got it all done. But what I did learn from that, and this is part of listening to your every week show, is we let the water drip last night.
Just leave the faucet on just a
Just
little
let
bit.
it in.
Open the cabinet doors,
Yep.
especially in an older house. Open the cabinet doors just to allow the heat to get in the cabinet underneath to the P trap.
And I would have never known that. Like, I would have
Yeah.
never known to
If
do
the
that.
water's moving, it's less likely to freeze.
Right. So we opened up the tap and we kept the door open, and no leak, nothing.
And we
happened.
see it all the time too, Adam. We get these calls for these broken pipes, and people are like, "I've lived here for 25 years, and we've never had this happen.
Yep.
And it didn't get any colder last night than it has been in the last 10. And it doesn't matter. I don't have a reason
Hey,
or
John,
run for it.
It just happened.
It's gonna happen.
Right.
And so that's important. So you got to have a guy. So the thing is, what they don't understand too about insurance is, let's talk back a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in the day, insurance agents used to
Hi, Roger.
give you their cell number.
Right.
And
Everybody has my cell number.
You go to bed with your phone on your nightstand, and you told your insureds, hey, you got a problem. That you wake up in the middle of the night with a problem. You call me, wake me up.
Yeah.
Those days are gone to some extent because of the large carriers don't really want agents involved too much anymore because they want to streamline the process.
Thanks, Tim. I appreciate that.
Hey, Tim.
I just cut it for him with the Flowbee. It really went well.
He does have a nice haircut.
So you don't have that. Now you have an 800 claims hotline number, right? And what they don't know too is your insurance company is not going to send somebody to your house for you.
Right.
They won't. They can make a recommendation. They can give you a few names, or they may give you one.
Hey, Rossi.
But what you got to understand is they're just throwing some names out there. So now, if your agent is still your guy, and you can call your agent, and your agent has a quality person that they know, they trust, they work with, absolutely, now you're the guy, right?
Well, and we always tell people, no matter what, the insurance carrier always wants you to mitigate it as much as you can.
For sure, no matter how.
So if your roof is leaking, if your water came in and your pipe burst, you do whatever you have to do to mitigate that damage before it causes even more damage. And a lot of people are scared to do that.
I don't want to touch anything.
Well, you don't want to touch anything, or
how am I going to prove that?
If I call Zales, oh my gosh, am I going to be stuck with that bill?
Are you going to pay for it?
So the bottom line is, I would say, and I'm not going to be 100% on this, but I would say 98% of the time, if you call a licensed, registered restoration company,
correct,
98% of the time, your bill will be paid.
Well, and the beauty of that is, too, one, the insurance company, we have people that tell us sometimes, like, they'll, we'll get the call, and then they'll say, well, we don't want you to come yet because I haven't heard back from my insurance company yet. Mm-hmm. Well, like you just talked about secondary damage, that's in your policy as well.
Right.
You've got to do everything you can to prevent secondary damage. So we've had people say, oh, I waited a week because I didn't hear anything back. Now I've got mold because 72 hours into summertime. Are you kidding me?
And it seeps even further,
and that's not going to be covered.
Even further, correct.
So it's like, okay, call somebody, like you said, do something even if it's wrong.
Right.
Because I don't care if your brother-in-law is a contractor and you will call him to put a Band-Aid on it, whatever. You can't really do it wrong at that point. Then the insurance company can help guide you, or whatever. They can't tell you that you can't use somebody unless that person's done something incorrect.
And I also wanted to just touch on real quick renters.
Well, I got a story for you. Go. Let's
talk. So a lot of people who are landlords own property.
Two sides to that renter thing.
Right. So you got landlords, you got property managers, and then you have your renters. I feel, and this is always overlooked, renters should always have a renter's insurance policy.
Which covers what?
Usually their personal property and gives them their personal liability insurance.
Correct.
And to give you an example, if there is a fire that starts in that property and you don't have a renter's policy with personal insurance for your belongings, guess what?
It's gone.
You're SOL.
It's gone. There's nothing. You don't have any.
You
coverage.
are and people don't realize that.
And now you have no place to live and nothing to sleep on because you don't have a couch.
That's so. Correct. How do you become a hardcore homeowner? Do you start off by being a hardcore renter?
If you're a renter, be a hardcore one, right?
You can be a renter. You don't have to be a homeowner. You could be a renter as well. And on the flip side of that, of you being a property owner, where you're renting that property to somebody, you better have your tenants having a renter's policy, not just because of the property insurance, but the liability exposure.
For sure.
You have somebody coming into your property. Why would the homeowner or the guy who's renting that property to you be responsible for your guest that was drunk that came into your house?
So let's take this full circle.
Or a dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Oh, animals can do tremendous
things. Or a dog.
So let's take it full circle and go back for a second. So step one, when you meet your agent and you're going to write a policy, let's say I bought a home and I'm going to come in and I'm going to sit down with you and we're going to discuss my policy, right?
Yeah.
Folks, do your homework and
Absolutely.
make sure you know that you're asking the right questions. Make sure, because guess what agents are? Human beings, right?
Correct.
And you could have a new person or you could have someone with lots on their mind and maybe just forget to mention a coverage.
It happens all the time.
Well, a good agent is supposed to be your advocate.
It's supposed to.
What they're
For sure, but you need to know what you're talking about too, as a homeowner.
And get it in writing.
And get it in, well, of course the policy can be in writing. So we want to make sure we have. So obviously the agent's going to ask you certain questions. Tell me about your basement. Is that a finished or unfinished space?
Correct.
Finished. Okay. Is there a sump pit?
We call that. We
I
call
don't
that
know.
a cost estimator.
Right.
Every single property that we do a cost estimate.
And you have to do that for underwriting,
Everything.
risk analysis,
Everything.
the whole thing.
Yep.
But as a homeowner, I want my own risk analysis.
Correct.
You need to know that I have a sump pit with a pump
Yep.
that has a battery backup on
Yep.
it, and I still want the rider.
And the boiler. And
Right.
you guys, there's special coverages for boilers.
There you go.
If you don't have that boiler coverage on your policy, which is usually
And it fails,
you're screwed.
you don't have coverage.
You do not have coverage.
So, and that's what's funny. Groundwater coming in from outside almost never covered.
Correct.
Pipe breaks, and guess what? The biggest thing. Hey, there's good news to all this too, guys. Guess what's covered? Stupidity. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Stupidity's covered.
Yeah.
People remember when people used to
Flood your-
smoke in bed. I mean,
Well, it's
they're
not-
fire close fire. It's stupid, right? Or
or-
not unhooking your hose from your hose bed.
Or
It's kind of stupid.
or not educating your children not to put Kleenexes down your toilet.
There you go, and it overflows.
And
That's
it overflows.
covered.
Wow.
But
But
those
are the
are
things.
questions.
Yeah.
Like when you interview your agent, you're
Yeah,
on your
sure.
policy. One of the questions
Be
you
that
should be
asshole,
asking,
right?
Be that guy that says,
Yeah.
"Hey, what could happen that's not going to be covered?"
Yep.
So you know about it
Yep.
and know how to deal with it, right?
Yep.
So that's one.
Thank you.
Now, full circle. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
This takes it all encompassing. We had a claim a couple of years ago. A good friend of mine has a condo. Yeah, that's a dirty word.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So got a condo. Lived in it for a long time, built a new home for the family,
Yep.
decided to rent the condo out.
Yep.
So they have a tenant in the condo.
Yep.
All right? So when you have a condo, a lot of times there's a condo association.
Correct.
So
Which have bylaws and
bylaws
blah, blah, blah,
and
blah,
fees.
blah, blah.
So the
Is
insurance
it
coverage.
walls out? Is it all
Right.
interior? Is it betterments and improvements?
Because part of the insurance is covered by the condo
Uh-huh.
association.
Wow.
So basically how that works is if you can pick up the condo, turn it upside down and
Shake
shake it, if it doesn't fall out, it's covered by the condo
That's
association. But boy, is that a 30,000 foot big
Yep.
paintbrush,
Let me ask you a
right?
question. I know this, but if you're looking at buying a condo, would you be able to call your agent and ask them what the coverage would look like with something
We
like
always
this?
Better.
we always require a master policy.
They need the policy from the condo
Yep.
association
Yep.
to know how to cover you.
Yep.
Because here's where this story
properly
goes.
cover you.
Right. Here's where this story goes. So now they've got an HOA policy.
Yep.
Or a condo association policy. They've got a betterments and improvements policy
Yep.
on their own, which is for their contents.
Yep.
And the betterments and improvements would be if you put in
Hardwood
remodel the
floors,
kitchen,
yeah,
painting,
countertops,
flooring, any of
yeah,
that
all
stuff,
that, yeah.
because that won't be covered if there's a claim.
Correct.
You'll get it back to the way it was when the condo insured.
Correct.
Pre-upgrade condition.
Did you sell insurance?
I
before?
shouldn't I? I know a little bit about this
Yeah,
these claims, right?
yeah.
So now you have a tenant in there too,
Yeah.
and the tenant has a renter policy,
Yeah.
and they do have for contents and liability. Now here's what happens: tenant leaves for the day, put something in the toilet on the second floor,
Yeah.
and it clogged it,
Yeah.
flushed it, left for the weekend.
I've seen it.
It overflows.
Yeah.
Black water loss, right?
Yep.
Because it's not the water feed for clean water. This is coming out of the commode.
Yep.
Is it black water? No, we didn't have sewage all over the place. It's black water loss.
Right.
It's categorized,
Right.
right? Everything the water touched, guess what? It's got to go.
Yep.
Any porous material,
Yep.
we can't just dry it and clean it. It's got to go.
Yep.
This ran all weekend. Second floor, first floor, finished basement. Total gut job.
And it probably hit the neighbor's house too.
We were lucky because the toilet was on the other side.
Oh wow.
And it was an
okay.
end unit.
Oh,
That's why it was an end
yeah,
unit.
Yeah, okay.
So there they got lucky. But this entire condo is now a total gut. So I get the call right away as soon as my buddy who owns the place gets it. I get out there right away. We start mitigation. We start drying. Everything's fine. We know we have 3 policies here.
Yeah.
We have a renter's policy. We have
Yeah.
a betterment policy. And we have a condo policy. Plenty of coverage is supposed to be had, right?
Correct.
Guess what happens? The condo association insurance company denies the claim, saying that it's responsibility of the renter because it was their fault for causing the loss. So now it goes to the owner
Yeah.
because he's stuck. It's his place, right? So now he's going to go to his company about his betterments policy, right?
Yep.
And just say, well, wait, I got to put this on here, and you can subrogate if you want to,
Yep.
which is that's language for lawsuits on the back end,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You know subrogation,
Yep.
but most people don't.
Yep.
Well, there's not enough money on the betterment policy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only 10 grand on the betterment policy.
Which most of those people, that's what they
It's
carry.
$100 grand claim.
Right.
Dude's out money.
Yep.
I got a bill.
Yep.
I want paid.
Yep.
There's no money. I got a buddy involved. It's rough, right?
Yeah.
It was really, really rough
Right.
on
Tony,
everything
And
because nobody did anything wrong here.
But nobody knew what was going on with the other policies. What was this?
That's
covering?
what
was
I'm
that
talking
covering?
about,
Yeah.
and this is an
Yeah.
extreme case. But
Yeah.
this is just a couple, just like me, married couple with a couple of kids, raising a family, and then this happens, and it shook the world because it's
nasty.
$100,000.
It's not even that, but when the family needs to be displaced while the
Now you got a
reconstruction-
renter who's got someone to ask them
now,
somewhere
now
to go.
you need
and
that. What do they call it? It's just slipped my mind. It's loss of use.
loss of there's a loss of income on the renter policy.
Yeah. So
For them, but now the renter's got to have somewhere to go, and his
Correct.
policy's got to cover him getting
Right.
a hotel or another
Hence the
apartment.
reason why we insure
Crazy.
probably around, I'd say 15 to 20 condo associations in York, Lancaster, and Harrisburg.
Gotcha.
We write them all with Travelers.
Gotcha.
And the reason why we write it with Travelers is there's no gray area with Travelers. It
That's
is
what you want.
it is a all in all policy
Black and white.
where there is no walls out. There is none of that. It's just covering the whole entire unit.
buddy.
You know, and we make it easy for them.
Right.
But we get that question all the time. Hey, can we see the master policy? Sure, send the master policy over to them,
And what a huge thing.
and they look at it. But it's called the whole bottom line of this thing is being a hardcore homeowner is also communicating.
Very much.
If
so.
you can't communicate with other people and you can't pick up the phone, screw the emails and screw the text messages.
No.
Pick up the phone, call your agent.
Even
have a
better is
meeting.
this.
Correct.
Go see your agent. They
Well,
got
our numbers are always available, so you can always call. I know Matt is always available.
Oh my gosh, 24/7. I'm the same way.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Make sure that the agent that you have, if you haven't heard from your insurance agent and you've been with them for 15 years,
You might want to give them a call.
they got a lot of policies. They got a lot of things going, but
Yeah.
they're probably not going to be reaching out to you necessarily. Whether it should be in a perfect world that once a year, I know there is a carrier out there who requires their agents to communicate with the insurers once per year and invite them to come in. I think it's probably just a letter.
Yep.
Why don't you come in? Let's review your policy.
Yeah, and that's a good.
And
It's a
it's
good thing. But we have a
Very
girl,
few do it.
we have a girl in our office. You met her, Beth.
Yeah.
Downstairs.
For sure.
She's been with us for 30 years.
No kidding.
And she started, I think, when she was 18, if I'm not mistaken. But all of our customers love her.
But it ain't much more.
It ain't much
It's usually
more,
a little bit.
but they're
the
happy.
coverage
They're
is-
happy, and they know when they leave,
Listen,
they're properly covered.
when you put your head on the pillow, you got to know, right? I mean, I hope people leave the show and go, "Holy smokes! I hope
better
nothing
check.
freaking happens to my house tonight." Because
Yeah.
you really have no idea.
You're insuring your biggest asset you'll ever buy.
Nobody understands the concept that groundwater is not covered.
Nope.
Well, what do you mean? I own the home. Water came in the home.
Yep.
What do you mean it's denied?
Yep.
Well, because it's not covered.
Yep.
Right? And yet, if you're not told that, and you can get an agent who may not want to tell you
Yep.
when you're writing a policy the stuff that ain't covered.
Yeah.
Because it's a little, you want the policy, right? I mean, they want to close. It's like writing a contract. So you just have to make sure your gut feels right about people. I mean, it's an interview.
It's
in
an
my
interview.
opinion. You don't have to write a policy just because
Right.
you walked in.
Right.
If you don't feel right about it, don't do it. Call
But
Adam, call
you'll
somebody.
be surprised how many people will call our office and say, "I need a homeowner's policy. I'm closing tomorrow."
Oh, I'm sure of it.
I mean, so at that point, what do?
You have to write a policy.
No,
You don't write a policy.
no.
I love
no,
the
no.
answer.
No, we bring or make sure if that person has a half an hour to talk to us, we gather all of the information. We call ourselves at the beginning when I told you we do not sell price, we sell product.
Right.
And we sell good product.
Right.
Because we don't want it coming back on our errors and omissions
Right.
that we did something wrong.
Right.
We also, at renewal time for our customers, is send a letter out. A lot of people forget wedding rings,
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about
Guns.
this. Absolutely.
fine arts. A lot of people think, I'm covered for that. No, you're not. You may be covered, but you're up to a certain amount, right? But all I can say is don't procrastinate on this stuff. And it is true if you actually surround yourself with good people. And I listen to him and I listen to Shane, and I watch his show, which is growing on me. These Facebook shows that I watch.
Yeah.
I actually learn bits and pieces every little show. And the one thing that I took away from the first one was, make a list of your insurance agent, your plumber, your electrician, your restoration company. Start interviewing those individuals now, so you know. Yes. So is this it?
Yep.
So who you should be contacting. Who's your second contact? Who's your third contact? That kind of stuff. I also want to bring up a little bit, and this is also being a hardcore homeowner, is a lot of people overlook liability. They're all about, what's my house covered for? Will it be repaired to the standard that I want? And also remember, before I get into the liability, it just popped in my head, it's not what your house is worth. Your house could be worth, or you could say, I bought my house for $84,000, but if you knock that house completely down, what would it cost to rebuild that house?
Correct.
Now remember, in that cost includes debris removal, includes code inspections, includes ordinance of law. So it's not just putting sticks together and building a house back up. There's a lot that goes in. Architects, you need to have it engineered. You need to have plans. All of that costs money. So people also have to remember, being a hardcore homeowner is not just thinking, oh, I bought it for $84,000, I can rebuild it for $84,000. No, it has to be insured to what it would be cost to repair of the materials as of today. Now, back onto the liability thing really quick. Be responsible on this as well. Everybody overlooks liability. We live in such a litigious society these days. Everybody wants to sue everybody. So anybody out there who is watching this show, being a hardcore homeowner is understanding liability and minimizing your risks. And what I mean by that is, if you own a dog, if you have a driveway that you do not shovel and you just run your car over it, swimming pool with little kids around, they can be your best friends, and they're having drinks with you at the pool, and they're having a good time.
Something goes bad.
The minute their child slips and falls on your concrete and falls into that pool and almost drowns, guess what? That's where your liability comes into play. So I always recommend a minimum of $300,000 of liability.
Okay.
And I also recommend, for the little bit that you spend, is to purchase an umbrella policy.
Absolutely.
100%.
Now, can you explain an umbrella policy?
Well, basically, an umbrella is like this. It is a extra liability coverage, and you hold it like this. And here's your automobile. Here's your homeowners.
Yep.
And what this does is, say your automobile insurance is $100,000 liability. Your umbrella is $1 million. So basically, what it's doing is it's giving you extra coverage on top of your already homeowners or auto coverage.
So really affordable backup policy.
$125.
Yeah.
$175.
A year.
Yeah. A year.
That's my point. And a lot of these things that we're talking about, Adam, were, sump pump rider, rider for your guns coverage, that kind of thing. All these little riders are minimal, minute to the premium.
And most
but
of them,
if you don't have it and you're out that $10,000 engagement ring because you didn't spend $10 a month to cover it, you're going to feel pretty bad. You ain't going to feel very hardcore.
Yeah, and it's not just adding the coverage. A lot of the carriers now have what's called endorsements, endorsement series. So they'll have like a silver series. They'll have a gold series and a platinum series.
Correct.
And it's the same coverages, except you're just increasing those coverages.
Right. So it's the different buckets cost, have different values.
Correct.
So that's all huge stuff. So at the end of the day, and one of the things that I'm going to have it ready for next week's show. Next week's show you don't want to miss.
David.
We're going to be walking around next week in a house on Facebook Live, and we're going to go identify problematic areas in the home that homeowners need to understand. We're going to go look at the hot water heater and explain this is your expansion tank.
Yep.
This is your drive. So
which
all
is
those things,
awesome, because most people don't know what it is.
How many people know that stuff?
And
right?
we just had a lady where theirs is actually exploded.
And I'm going to actually feature a product that I shouldn't feature because it's probably cost me some work.
Right.
Because they have not even new, but they have these alarm systems that you can put on the floor under your refrigerator, by your hot water heater, that if it gets wet, it kills the main.
Wow. Wow.
It kills the main.
That's awesome.
So if you get a pipe break, as soon as the water reaches that thing, hits it, it trips your main shutoff like you had.
Yeah.
You'd have no damage. Wipe it up with a towel, dude.
That's it. Yeah. Wow.
So I'm costing myself some opportunity.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it's all about here is try to educate maybe with some hardcore.
Well, and I also recommend for our homeowners, we say this a lot in the condo associations when I have my meetings with all of these people that are in association.
Trey,
We tell everybody
let us know.
buy braided lines.
Oh, for sure.
Because our biggest, believe it or not, in condo associations, our biggest losses
Please share this.
are refrigerator lines that go to the water line. And the reason for that is it's because it's a real thin plastic, almost rubberized.
Which you need to check.
Mine's copper.
Well,
What?
well, either way, copper's
Yeah.
even better. But
Copper's way better, yeah.
remember, on that plastic, with the heat and the cold, it expands and
Expands,
contracts.
It'll crack.
And it'll get these little pinholes in it.
Mm.
And you may not see it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but after 5 or 6 years, you're going to get what I had in my house, which I had no idea was leaking, right?
Good news is it's covered.
And good news is it was covered.
Under the right policy.
But those are the things that you don't notice until you, like his next video, he's going to go through each of them.
We're going to go through
show
that. Just like the hoses for your washing machine. If you got the old black hoses, swap
yeah.
them tomorrow.
Yep.
And who are you going to call to do that? Well, hopefully you got a guy.
Hopefully you got
Hopefully you got a plumber, right?
Yeah.
If not, get a guy.
Yep.
That's what this is all about, is having a guy. And we'll encourage people too, if you don't have a guy and you're in Central PA and you need, the other thing I'm going to have on the show next week, this ties in, is that list. I'm going to have something that they can
Very
go on
important.
and download and print it out, right?
Yeah.
That they can put it right on
And
their
a
refrigerator.
contents list. You should put a contents
Well, that's one of the
list
things I was
in
going to
that,
talk to you about. There's an app out there. We'll feature it next week on that, and I'll have it up on the screen. But there's a new app called Home Content.
That's perfect.
And you walk around the room and you would take a picture of that camera stand, and you can put in what you paid for it. If there's a receipt, you can scan it in.
That's cool.
And it will take some time. It's very laborious, but
Once it's
much
done.
better than writing it on a legal pad,
Yeah, but
right?
once it's done, it's done.
And then you save it, and they store it in the cloud.
And then you can always update.
Because if your phone, if it was a fire for God's sake, hopefully not, God forbid, but it was a fire and your phone burned up.
Yeah.
Where's the data?
Yeah.
Well, now it's in the cloud.
Yeah.
So your insurance adjuster says, well, you need to get me a list of all your content so we can reimburse you.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with your legal pad.
Absolutely.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
I know State Farm had a thing on their website years ago where you could go on there and download a form, but it was really just a document.
Right.
But we'll have something next week for you guys that you can print out, hang it on your fridge. My plumber is this. My electrician is that.
Super important.
My agent is this. And then we probably ought to do another show and really talk about claims and adjusters. People have a bad feeling.
Oh,
in their
this
mouth
could
about
go on
adjusters.
for hours
It
and
could
hours
go
and
forever.
hours and hours. Yeah.
And adjusters are good people who have a hard job to do.
They do.
And whatever we can do to make that job easier for them is beneficial for us to be hardcore.
Yep.
And hardcore doesn't mean we have to butt heads with our adjuster. We just need to be educated, right?
Right. And
That's
so-
the best thing we can be. So
Communication.
great
That's all
stuff.
it is.
It really is. It's knowing people, knowing how to talk, asking the right questions, getting the right stuff
That's
squared
it.
away. So I can't thank you enough for being
No,
here this
thank
week.
you. Appreciate it,
And
man.
always good to see you.
Appreciate it.
And Shane Train, man.
Yes,
it's
bud.
been a good week. Next week we'll rock it with. We're gonna do a walk around, so it's gonna be kind of fun.
That's gonna be awesome.
God bless y'all.
Everybody have a
Please
great
share this.
weekend.
Yeah.
And hi to everybody on the replay.
Share
Thanks
this
for coming
on
on
your
the
page.
Yeah,
replay.
share it on your
Hey,
page.
you know people we don't know that may need to see and hear some
So
of this
at the
stuff,
end
so
of the
share it out.
day, the reason we ask people to share is people don't have phone books. Like, I know we get so busy we forget, but we don't have phone books. And this takes Google, but it takes it to another level of live, and they get to see and they get real information, and
Yep.
people watch videos. So
Yep, no
we
question.
appreciate it. No one's going
And
to call
real
you and
quick,
tell you they're going through something.
If you like Adam and need an agent, or you're unhappy with an agent, or just want to give him a call, it's Gentzler Smith Associates in
Yep.
York. You're right over by the in
South Queen Street.
South Queen Street.
Yep.
What's the restaurant right there? Corner Stables.
Corner
Is that
Stables.
still
yeah,
there? That's
yeah.
one of my favorite
We're in
spots
Old
years
Tollgate
ago.
Village, so yeah.
Go see Adam. If you do have a claim, you don't know who to call, you call me. I promise you we'll take great care of you. 717-683-3015 is my personal cell number. Call me. I'm not afraid.
And are you guys hiring?
I am. I'm actually
So-
hiring. We're growing. I need a really solid experience would be great. Estimator, project manager for when these claims come in. If Adam calls with a loss for one of his insurers, we send our mitigation team, obviously, but then we have to write up the estimate
Yep.
and a repair estimate, and then run that project straight through, and I need to add a guy or a gal, someone just solid. If you don't have experience but you do know construction, or you've done estimating or something of that nature,
Someone that's good at
come on,
math and measuring.
reach out to me. Well, just and they can
Organized.
learn, and it's not afraid to work, and that we can teach. I'd rather get somebody without bad habits and teach them than get somebody who says, "Well, I've never done it that way."
Yeah.
So I mean, experience is good.
That's what we do.
But the right person, I'll take. So we are ready
They
to
can
rock and roll
message
with
you
it.
right on here, or your phone number
Message
again
me right
is.
here, or it's 717-683-3015.
And can they text you?
You can text me.
So they can text 717
683
683
3015.
3015. I always speak like I'm writing.
Yeah, I know, I'm
So-
really fat. I do everything.
No, most
10
people do, but I
miles
just
an
want
hour.
to make sure people get that number
No, it's
so
good.
that if someone's on there, they have a brother, a sister, a cousin, a dad that might fit this estimating position, that they contact you.
And I got guys, if that makes sense. We're talking about having a guy. If you need a guy and you need someone to go say, "Hey, would you be my guy as an electrician?"
And what areas are we talking
And I'll
about?
tell you, that's very important that he has these many.
Call me. I'll turn you on to them. You call them
Yeah.
yourself. You interview them.
So if
and
they're
you
in
find
Lancaster,
out.
Harrisburg, or York
Lancaster,
County,
Harrisburg, York,
Adams.
Cumberland, Adams, Franklin.
South Central
You want
Pennsylvania,
someone? Yep. If you're in
You're
South
good,
Central
you can help
PA, give me a shout.
And if
I'll
you build
connect you
that
with some
relationship
people.
with an electrician or whoever you're dealing with,
That's exactly
if you
right.
have a claim, guess who's going to be probably coming back out to your
There are
property?
guys.
There you go.
So it's
They already have
important.
history of your property.
You want someone that if you're calling a plumber at 3:00 in the
Yeah,
morning,
they know what they're looking
that when
at.
they see it come up on their screen, they go, "All right, I'm gonna take that because I know that dude."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're your guy.
Yeah.
If it's an unknown number, I'm not answering it. I mean, I am, but some people aren't. So not everybody views.
No,
everything
I'm
as
not
an
hiring. He's hiring. Zales Restoration.
Gentzler, he's hiring.
No,
for
he's hiring.
an estimator for my company. Awesome, folks. Thanks for tuning
Thank
in.
you,
Next
guys.
week's going to be
Appreciate it.
huge. Talk soon.